Yogachoodamanyupanishad. Yogachoodamanyupanishad. Choodamani is the crest jewel, the best, the most important, the essential. So this Upanishad, Yogachoodamanyupanishad, explains, describes the most essential practices of the yoga. The Upanishad begins with the Yoga Anga Shatkam, the 6 Angas of the yoga. And Asanam, Prana Samrodha, Pratyaharascha Dharana, Dhyanam, Samadhir Etani Yogangani Bhavanti. That is the Upanishad mantra. Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. A slightly deviation from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Ashtanga Yoga. The Yama-niyamas are not included in this. So the Shadangas of the Yogachoodamanyupanishad are these 6. And Yogachoodamanyupanishad belongs to the Samaveda. And there are 121 mantras are there. 121 mantras belonging to the Samaveda. And in these Shadangas, beginning with the asana, the Upanishad is clear. 2 asanas have been mentioned for the practice of the other 5 angas or other important angas. They are the Ekam Siddhasanam Proktam, Dvitiyam Kamalasanam. Siddhasana and Kamalasana, a beautiful name, an epithet for the Padmasana. Padmasana name is well known. But Yogachoodamanyupanishad mentions it the same as the Kamalasana. Then the Upanishad describes that Yoga Siddhaye Avashyakam Deha Tattvajnanam. For the best benefits, for the highest benefits, and for the establishment in the yoga, one must know Deha Tattvajnanam, knowledge about the body. Body knowledge is an essential for the Yoga Siddhi. Yoga Siddhaye Avashyakam Deha Tattvajnanam. Then the Upanishad explains the constituents of the body. And in that constituents, it emphasizes the Shat Chakras. And it talks about the Mooladharadi Chakrani. And each chakra, it explains. Just for example, Mooladhara Chakra, Chaturdalam Syat Adharam Swadhishtanam Cha Shaddalam Nabhi Dashadalam Padmam Hridayam Dwadasha Shodasharam Vishuddhasya Bhrumadye Vidanam Tatha Sahasra Dala Sankhatam Brahmarandra Mahapatihi. The way the Upanishad explains the importance of the knowledge of the body and gives us the various existence, constituents of our body. The Shat Chakras are actually present in the body. And it explains in an imagery, a symbolic manner, that the Mooladhara has 4 petals, Swadhisthana has 6 petals, the navel region, and then has 10 petals, the heart has the 12 petals, the Vishuddhi has 16 petals, and the center of the eyebrows, Ajna Chakra, has 2 petals, and the last one, the Brahmarandra, is the 1000 petals. This recognizing, presenting a lotus with various petals and different colors is a part of many of the other Upanishads and yoga texts. It doesn't mean actually there are lotuses in the body and there are actually petals in the body. It signifies a symbolic of some physical part in the body as looked by the yoga masters who considered the human body as the best tool, as a vehicle to attain the important dimensions of the yoga. And that is how the Upanishad goes further into the Nadi Mahachakram. It explains it. The Nadi Sthanas, the various Nadis and their places, and the flow of the prana in these Nadis. The effects of the flow of prana in these Nadis. Even the Upanishad gives various names: Ida, Pingala, Shushumna, Gandhari, Hastajuha, Yashaswini, Pusa, Alambusa, Kuhu, Shankhini. Such names have been given. And when the prana flows in these nadis, what are the effects? What are the activities it controls and manifests? In these nadis, the entire body is under the influence of the flow of the prana, and the flow of the prana with various speeds, various intensity, various volumes. The change of speed, volume, intensity in different nadis at different times affects psychophysiological activities. Then the Upanishad explains beautifully the Pancha Pranas, Prana, Apana, Udana, Samana and Vyana. And then it explains the Pancha Upapranas, Naga, Kurma, Krikara, Dhananjaya and the Devadatta. These various combinations with various direction of flows. That is how the entire human body, the psychophysiological constituent of the body, the emotions, manaha, buddhi, ahankara, chittaha, raga, dveshas, likes and dislikes, the physical activities, the pancha jnanendriyas, the pancha karmendriyas, and all the activities are all monitored, in fact, directed and fueled by flow of prana in these various nadis and the chakras. And the Upanishad emphasizes there is a need to understand so that there can be a balance and alignment brought in for the practices of pratyahara, dharana and dhyana. That is the importance of the pranayama. Then the Upanishad talks about the important dimension of the ajapa gayatri anusandhanam. Ajapa gayatri anusandhanam. Etat samkhyaatnitam mantram jivo japati sarvada ajapa nama gayatri yoginam mokshada sada asyaha sankalpamatrena sarvapapaihi pramuchyate anaya sadrushi vidya anaya sadrusho japaha anaya sadrusham jnanam na bhutam na bhavishyati prana vidya mahavidya yastam veti sa vedavit. The ajapa gayatri is the continuous awareness of the omkara while flow of the prana. This flow of the prana harmonizing with the chanting and the sound of pranava is an important dimension of the ajapa gayatri practice. That is how the Upanishad explains beautiful mantras on the dimensions. Then the Yogachoodamanyupanishad Upanishad also talks about the Bandhatraya, the well-known Khechari, Vajroli, Mahamudra, then also the Jalandhara Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha and the Mahamudra. Then this Bandhatraya plus these three mudras, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha and the Jalandhara Bandha, combinations of Khechari, Vajroli and the Mahamudra. Then the practice of the pranayama, then the practice of the omkara, aligning all these practices leads to the yoga siddhi. This is how the Upanishad goes into raptures in explaining the practices of the Khechari mudra, how the Khechari should be practiced, what is its effect, how Vajroli should be practiced, what is its effect, and what are the timings it has to be practiced. Then the practice of the Mahamudra it talks. Then the most important is the Pranava Japa, Padmasanam Samarudaha, Samakaya Shirodharaha, Nasagra Drishtirekante, Japed Omkaram Avyayam. The Upanishad talks about how Omkara Japa, Pranava Japa should be practiced. It says, Padmasanam Samaruha. One should sit in Padmasanam and align the body Samaha with Samakaya Shirodharaha. The body has to be aligned, erect spine and the neck. And then Padma in Padmasanam, then Nasagra Drishti. The Drishti should be at the tip of the nose. Then the Japed Omkaram Avyayam. Then the Omkara Japa has to be practiced. A very beautiful essential mantra. A practical instruction how to practice the Omkara mantra and the Pranava mantra it is. Then Pranava mantras pratyekam arthaha omkaro jagrati netre vartate sarva jantushuhu ukaraha kanthataha swapne makaro hridi suttitaha. The akara, ukara, makara and the rising from the mouth level, Hridaya, the chest level and the abdominal level. This is how the Upanishad beautifully explains Akara, Ukara and Makara. And this experience, the Upanishad explains beautifully. The Akara is the Jagrata Sthanaha. Jagrata Avastaha. Vakaraha is the Swapna Avastaha. And the Makara is the Sushupti Avastaha. And the practice and the chanting and the awareness of the chanting is to be like a Taila Dhara Miva Achinnam Dirga Ghantaninadavat. That means it should be practiced unbroken, continuous, like the flow of the oil. And Dirga Ghanta Ninadavat, a long sound, reverberating sound of a bell. Then the Bhurbhuvasaraha Lokaha Soma Surya Agnidevataha Yasya Matrasu Tishtanti Tatparam Jyotihi Om Itihi. The Upanishad also explains how Akara, Vakara, Makara are connected with the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurbhuvassaha Om Tatsavitadvrenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yonah Prachodayat. The Upanishad links the both. Bhurbhuvassaram iti lokaha, bhulokaha, svahalokaha, and bhuvarlokaha, and akara, vakara, makaraha, how they are connected to that. Then the pranayama lakshanam, the Upanishad also talks about the pranayama lakshanam. Then the importance of the pranayama, how it is to be practiced. Baddha padmasane yogi pranam chandrena purayet dharayedha yatha shaktya bhuyaha suryena rechayet. Nadi Shuddhi pranayama. This is a description of Nadi Shuddhi pranayama. How the Nadi Shuddhi pranayama should be practiced. Yogachoodamanyupanishad emphasizes and instructs the yoga sadhaka that the sadhaka should sit in Padmasane. Yogi pranam chandrena purayet. You begin the Nadi Shuddhi pranayama while inhaling through the left nostril and exhale with the right nostril. Amritod adhisamskashakha gokshiradha lopamam. Then that inhalation through the left nostril and exhalation through the right nostril. Again inhale through the right nostril and exhale with the left nostril. Pranam chedi idya piben niyamitam bhuyonyatha rechayet. Pitva pingalaya samirana madhyo badhva tyajet vamayaha. Inhale to the left nostril, exhale to the right nostril. Again inhale to the right nostril and exhale to the left nostril. This is the Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, Nadi Shodhanam. Yogachoodamani Upanishad. And while explaining this, it doesn't specify any specific timing and specific length of it. It says that yatha shaktihi, as much as possible. So it depends on the sadhaka's ability and sadhaka's capability of how much time he can inhale and how much time he can exhale. The length and the speed of exhalation and inhalation is left to the individual practitioner. But emphasizing that it should be slower and slower without giving any specific timing and matraha. But further, the Upanishad explains, if a timing has to be followed, what should be the timing should be followed? It explains that. Though it leaves it to the Yatha Shakti, that Yatha Shakti also is specified. Very beautiful it is. Rechakaha Purakashchaiva Kumbhakaha Pranavatmaka Pranayamo Bhave Devam Matra Dvadasa Samyutaha Matra Dvadasa Samyukto Nishakara Divakaraihi. Then Purakam Dvadasham Kuriyat Kumbhakam Shodasham Bhavet Rechakam Dashacha Omkaram Pranayama Savuchyate. Purakam Dvadasham Kuriyat, Dvadashamatra inhalation, then Shodashamatra Kumbhakam, Dashamatra Rechakam. If we have to put it into seconds, 12 seconds of inhalation, 10 seconds of Kumbhakam, then 12 seconds of Rechakam, that is 12 seconds of Puraka, 16 seconds of Kumbhakam, then 10 seconds of Rechakam. Purakam Dwadasham Kuriyat, Kumbhakam Shodasham Bhavet, Rechakam Dashacha Omkaraha Pranayama Sa Uchyate. This is also interpreted as a normal chanting of Omkara chanted for 12 times during inhalation, then hold the breath while chanting Omkara in a normal speed for 16 times of chanting Omkara, then exhale while chanting the Omkara 10 times. So the chanting of Omkara, how much time we take, that also is left out to the individual. So the mantra is interpreted as matraha, but also is interpreted or to be understood while inhalation, chanting of 12 Omkaras, or how much time a person takes to chant Omkara in his own way of chanting, that much time for the Puraka, and 16 times of chanting Omkara, how much time he takes is the Kumbhakaha, and Rechakaha for the 10 times. Now, it is not necessarily exactly to follow this 12, 16 and 10, but a ratio can be brought out from this, a convenient ratio, and a sadhaka can practice into it, suitable to his own or her own way of capacity, because Yatha Shakti should not be forgotten. This is how the Yogachoodamanyupanishad explains the importance of Omkara chanting and combining it with the inhalations and exhalations of the Nadi Shuddhi Pranayamaha. Then the Upanishad beautifully describes Prana Abhyasaha, the Lakshanas, the benefits, or what are the effects and results of the Pranayama and the Nadi Shuddhi benefits. Very beautifully it explains. Pranayamena yuktena sarva roga kshayo bhavet. Pranayama vyukte abhyaha sarva roga samudbhavaha. If pranayama is done properly, sarva roga kshayaha, all diseases will be eliminated. All diseases will be cured. And if pranayama done in a wrong way, it generates all diseases. So a proper, correct practice of pranayama cures diseases, and a wrong practice of pranayama becomes a cause for the generation of the diseases. One should be very careful. A beautiful caution was given by the Yogachoodamanyupanishad in practicing of the pranayama. Yukta yukta yuktam yuktam tyajed vayuhu yuktam yuktam praporayet yuktam yuktam prabadhyadevam siddham avapnuyat. That is the Upanishad beautifully explains that to be suitable, yuktam it is, depending upon the ability and the capacity of the sadhaka it is. Yuktam yuktam tyajed vayuhu yuktam yuktam praporayet yuktam yuktam prabadhyat evam siddham avapnuyat. So though the Upanishad gives the ratio for practice, but that ratio also has to be adjusted and maintained as per the capability and ability of the practitioner. That is how important dimension is given. And then the Upanishad explains pranayama abhyase indriya pratyahara avashyakaha. By the practice of pranayama, one will enhance his ability and mastery over the pratyaharaha, sense control, ability to rein the speed, pressure and force of the Indriyas. One can reign, control, and gain mastery over one's own speed and force, pressure of the desires. This ability and capacity to postpone the pressure to fulfill the desire, that is an important dimension of the pratyahara. So the shadangas, that is the asana, kamalasana and the siddhasana, then the structure of the body, then the nadis, then the nadi shuddhi, then the importance of the pranayama, then the dharana and the dhyana, the omkara dhyana. That is how the Yogachoodamanyupanishad, the Samaveda Upanishad, this is, which was having about 121 mantras, concludes, presents beautifully a practical dimension of the yoga practices, which should be extremely useful to all of the practitioners in the field of yoga, in enhancing our own ability to raise our own lifestyle and to enhance our practices to higher levels. A simple, normally confining ourselves to the practice of asanas and pranayama, kriyas, mudras, bandhas, for the sake of exhibitionism, for the sake of fame and name, are to be curtailed. And that is also a part of practicing of the pratyahara. And that is how the Yogachoodamani Upanishad reorients the entire practices of asana, pranayama and the entire shada angas, and gives a beautiful suggestion, specific suggestions for the practice of the omkara dhyana and the omkara japa and the ajapa gayatri practice. And let us see the other Upanishads, and let us conclude here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.